Breaking news, everyone. And when I say breaking, I mean the kind of news that makes military strategists just tear up their old maps. It is Sunday, February 1st, 2026, and reports are absolutely flooding in that Sweden is preparing one of its largest ever military aid packages for Ukraine. Now, usually, we hear aid package and we think ammo, maybe some supplies, but this is different. The headline grabber, the thing that has defense analysts scrambling this morning, is the confirmed discussion around the MBDA Meteor missile. Before we dive into why this specific missile changes the entire map of the war, I need to point you in the right direction. If you want to stay ahead of all this, make sure you subscribe to Defense Reports, your go-to source for timely, in-depth military and defense reports. You really don't want to miss what's coming. I'm Alexis. Join me with Ekria in the latest podcast by Defense Report for sharp, no-nonsense breakdowns of the latest in global defense news, military technology, and strategic developments. And today we're going to cover, well, what analysts are already calling the deadly combo that could finally close the skies over Ukraine.
It really is a potential turning point. We aren't just looking at a new weapon system here, Alex. We're looking at a package that redraws the lines of engagement. I mean, it's not just about a new missile, it's about a no-escape zone that is, 3 times larger than anything in theater right now?
Okay, no escape zone. Let's unpack that immediately because that sounds absolutely terrifying. But we have a ton to cover. We have a missile that supposedly breathes air like a jet engine to chase targets at Mach 4. We've got a Swedish fighter jet designed to hide in forests and take off from highways, finally arriving this year, 2026.
And most importantly, we have a major strategic shift. This isn't just about dogfighting. This package is aimed squarely at stopping the glide bomb terror by physically pushing Russian bombers back 100 kilometers.
Exactly. So, my promise to you is we're going to unpack all of this. The Meteor, the Gripen fighters, this new Brave Sweden program. Without the boring jargon, let's get right into it. The Meteor. Why is everyone freaking out about this thing today?
Well, the core of the news is that the Swedish package is comprehensive. It's got radars, electronic warfare, drones. But the crown jewel, the thing that changes the physics of the fight, is the Meteor Beyond Visual Range Air-to-Air Missile, the BVRAM. And to get why it matters, you have to understand that not all missiles are created equal.
Right, because Ukraine already has American AMRAAMs. We've talked about them. They're good missiles. So what makes the Meteor so different? Is it just bigger?
It's not about size. It's all about the engine, the propulsion. It's where the physics gets really fascinating. Your conventional missiles, like an AMRAAM or the Russian R-77, they use a solid fuel rocket. Think of it like a very powerful firework.
Okay, so you light it, it burns super hard for a few seconds, and then it just burns out.
Precisely. That's the boost phase. It hits top speed almost instantly, but then the motor's dead. For the rest of the flight, it's just coasting, gliding, it's bleeding energy every single second.
So it's losing steam the whole way, like taking your foot off the gas on the highway.
Exactly like that. By the time it gets to a long-range target, say 40 or 50 kilometers out, it's slowing down a lot. It has way less energy to turn. If the target pulls a hard maneuver, the missile just can't follow. The Meteor, though, is completely different. It uses what's called a throttleable ducted rocket, basically a ramjet.
A ramjet. Okay, that sounds like something from science fiction. How does that work?
It's very real and very clever. See, a normal rocket carries its own oxygen, its oxidizer. A ramjet has air intakes. It breathes. It pulls in oxygen from the atmosphere to burn its fuel, just like a jet engine. And that gives it 2 huge advantages.
Okay.
First, you can pack more fuel because you're not carrying that heavy oxidizer. But the big one, the game changer, is that it can throttle its engine. It creates sustained thrust all the way.
So the AMRAAM is like a sprinter who goes all out for 100 meters and then has to sort of coast for the next mile. But the Meteor is a marathon runner who sprints the entire race.
That is the perfect analogy. And because it's sprinting the whole way, it hits the target with an incredible amount of kinetic energy. It doesn't arrive tired, it arrives at Mach 4+. This creates what we call the no-escape zone, the NEZ.
No escape zone. I love that term. But let's define it. What does that actually mean for a pilot?
The NEZ is the bubble, where a missile has so much energy that the target simply cannot get away. Even if that pilot turns 180 degrees and slams the afterburner on, the missile will still catch them.
And for a normal missile, that zone is what? Pretty small?
For a standard solid fuel missile, that absolute kill zone might be 20, maybe 25 kilometers.
Okay, so you have to get dangerously close to guarantee a kill.
Very close, yeah. But for the Meteor, the no escape zone is estimated to be over 60 kilometers.
60?
60. And its total effective range is over 200 kilometers.
60 kilometers where you simply cannot survive. That changes everything for a pilot.
It changes the entire psychology of the cockpit. Right now, Russian pilots know that if they see a launch from far away, they can just turn and run. It's a tactic called dragging. The missile will eventually run out of steam.
Right.
With the Meteor, that option is gone. If you're in that 60-kilometer bubble, you're gone. There's no outrunning it.
That's the game changer. But you need a platform to launch it from. You can't just, duct tape it to a drone. And that brings us to the other half of the news, the Gripen.
The Saab JAS-39 Gripen. And this has been a long time coming. The reports are confirming that Ukraine expects the first of potentially 100 to 150 of these fighters to start arriving in 2026.
150? That's not a squadron, that's a whole new air force.
It's a long-term goal for sure. The initial deliveries this year are what's key, and we're likely looking at the older C and D variants first.
Which some people might hear and think, oh, they're getting the old stuff. But wait, the CD variants are fully capable of firing the Meteor, right?
They are. In fact, that's a key point. The Gripen was the very first fighter in the world to integrate the Meteor back in 2016. It was literally built for this missile. So the CD is exactly what Ukraine needs.
And let's talk about why the Gripen is such a perfect fit. Because we talk a lot about F-16s, and they're great jets, but they're a bit high maintenance.
The F-16 is a thoroughbred racehorse. It needs a pristine track. The Gripen, on the other hand, is a rally car. It was designed during the Cold War to fight a defensive war against the Soviet Union. The whole idea was that all the main air bases would be destroyed in the first hour.
Which is exactly the situation Ukraine is in. Russia hits their airfields constantly.
Exactly. So the Gripen is designed to land on civilian highways, on strips of road as short as 800 meters. I mean, a regular two-lane road.
I've seen the videos. They land on a snowy road in a forest, a truck pulls up, and a few conscripts refuel and rearm it. Not specialized engineers.
And that turnaround time is critical. A Gripen can land, rearm with missiles, refuel, and be back in the air in under 10 minutes, with a ground crew of 6 people.
That's unbelievable. You can hide them in barns, under overpasses. It makes them so much harder for Russia to target.
It's designed for dispersed operations. You don't ground the Gripens by hitting one airbase, because they're scattered all over the country.
And the cost. I mean, in a war of attrition, that has to matter.
It's a huge difference. The MiG-29 costs about $15,000 per flight hour. The Gripen, it's around $8,000. That adds up very, very quickly.
So a rugged, cheap-to-fly jet that can hide in the woods and carries the deadliest long-range missile out there. But what about the future? I saw something about joint production.
Yes, and that's huge. This isn't just a donation. In October 2025, they signed a deal to eventually produce Gripen parts, and maybe even do assembly, inside Ukraine by 2033.
So this is about building a self-sufficient, NATO-compatible defense industry.
Precisely.
Okay, so let's put it all together. What does this mean for the fighting right now? The biggest problem isn't dogfights, it's those glide bombs.
The UMTK glide bombs, the tactical dilemma. Russia uses its Su-34 bombers to drop these things from 40 to 70 kilometers behind their own lines. They just lob them over.
And they stay completely out of range of Ukraine's current air defenses. They're basically untouchable.
They were untouchable. This is where the Meteor strategy really shines. Remember that 200-kilometer range?
Ah, I see where this is going. The geometry of the battlefield is about to change.
Exactly. A Ukrainian Gripen can patrol safely 50 kilometers behind its own lines and still reach out and threaten those Su-34s before they can even drop their bombs. If you force those bombers to stay 100 kilometers back just to survive, their glide bombs can't reach the front. They fall short.
You neutralize the weapon by scaring off the archer, so he can't even fire the arrow.
Exactly. But it gets even deadlier. There's a tactic called the silent shot. And this involves another piece of Swedish kit, the Saab 340 AEW&C, the ASC-890.
The big radar plane. The eye in the sky.
That's the one. It flies deep in safe airspace, and its huge radar sees everything hundreds of kilometers away. It's the quarterback.
And it talks to the Gripen, networked warfare.
It does, through a secure data link. So here's the scenario. The Gripen is flying low, its own radar turned off.
So it's silent, invisible.
Invisible. The radar plane sees an S-34 climbing to drop a bomb. It sends the coordinates to the Gripen. The Gripen fires the Meteor, still without turning its own radar on.
Wow. So the Russian pilot gets no warning? Nothing? Your system beeps when radar locks onto you?
His radar warning receiver stays completely silent. He thinks he's safe, He has no idea a missile is coming at him at Mach 4. Only in the last few seconds does the missile's own little radar turn on to guide itself in for the kill.
So he gets a warning for maybe 2 seconds before impact.
If that, he gets a missile lock warning, looks up, and it's too late. And he's deep inside that no escape zone. There's physically nothing he can do.
That is the definition of a deadly combo. How does it stack up against what the Russians have? The R-37M is their big one, right?
The R-37 is dangerous, yes. It has a huge range. But it's a big, heavy missile designed to kill tankers and AWACS planes, not agile fighters. The Meteor combines that extreme range with high maneuverability. It can kill a fighter at 200 kilometers. The only thing that comes close is maybe the Chinese PL-15, but the Meteor's ramjet is considered superior.
So this package, this Brave Sweden thing, it's more than just the air war.
That's right. Brave Sweden is modeled on Ukraine's Brave One initiative, which basically cuts the red tape between tech developers and the front line.
It's about getting new tech into the front fast.
Exactly. And this package includes deep strike drones from Sweden, drones capable of hitting targets deep inside Russia. So you see how it all connects.
How so?
The Meteor pushes the Russian planes back from the front lines. The deep strike drones then go after the airfields they're forced to retreat to. It stretches their logistics thin.
And I assume the electronic warfare systems are meant to protect all of this.
Vitally important. The Russians are masters of jamming. These new EW systems protect the data links that make the silent shot possible. Without that link, the whole strategy falls apart.
It really is a complete ecosystem. It's not just, here's a missile, it's, here's a strategy.
It's a doctrinal shift.
Yep.
We're moving from just air denial, keeping them away from cities, to achieving localized air superiority, clearing the skies so your own troops can move.
And the people are ready. Ukrainian pilots have been training on these for a while.
Oh yeah. This has been happening in the shadows for over a year. The training, the logistics, the infrastructure is ready. The jets are the final piece of the puzzle.
I think we've made it pretty clear why this matters. We're watching a shift from defense to offense in the air war.
And it leaves you with a really provocative question. If that no escape zone extends 100 kilometers into Russian-held territory, does the Russian Air Force even fly there anymore? What happens to an army on the ground when it loses its air support entirely?
That is the thought we're going to leave you with today. If Russia loses the sky, the whole dynamic on the ground changes overnight. We've covered a lot, from ramjet physics to highway landings. It's a huge story, and we will be watching very closely as those Gripens start to arrive. You've been listening to Defense Report by Alex Naria, where we analyze the latest in military strategy, global defense, and advanced weaponry. And a final reminder: subscribe to Defense Reports, your go-to source for timely, in-depth military and defense reports. We'll catch you next time.